Imagine standing under a multi-ton vehicle. The only thing keeping thousands of pounds of steel from crushing you is a mechanical locking system. Now imagine that system is broken, and instead of locking the lift out of service, someone bypassed the safety latch and clamped it together with a pair of vice grips. In July 2025, federal OSHA inspectors walked into an auto service facility in Norwich, New York, and found exactly that: a four-post rotary lift with a snapped safety latch cable held in place by a hand tool. The shop belonged to Monro Inc., a major automotive service chain with roughly 1,100 locations nationwide. This rigged lift, along with a laundry list of other hazards discovered during the inspection, recently resulted in a massive $174,000 penalty. A technician only reaches for a pair of pliers to fix a structural lift after a long chain of smaller warnings has been ignored. To understand how a shop gets to this point, we have to look past the lift and into the daily operations of the facility. That vice grip is a leading indicator for the rest of the facility. It signals that if management accepts a mechanical bypass this severe, the shop's less visible systems, the fire safety, the electrical conduits, and the emergency exits, are likely in a similar state of decay. To understand how dangerous this workaround is, you have to look at how a four-post lift actually works. The mechanical safety latch system is the final failsafe against gravity. It is designed to physically lock the lift in place once it reaches the desired height. By bypassing this lock with vice grips, that failsafe is completely disabled. The heavy vehicle load is left resting solely on the pressurized hydraulic cylinder. If a hydraulic hose or seal blows under that immense pressure, those vice grips will instantly fail, causing the lift to go into an immediate, catastrophic freefall. Even without a hydraulic blowout, a broken cable destroys the structural equilibrium of the entire assembly. Four-post lifts require precise leveling at all four corners to safely distribute the weight. Without it, you severely increase the risk of the vehicle slipping off the lift entirely. OSHA inspectors cited this exact hazard as a repeat violation. Monro had previously entered into a corporate-wide settlement with OSHA in 2012, specifically to address systemic deficiencies in lift maintenance and inspection, making this recent discovery a highly visible failure to learn from past enforcement. When a technician is pushed to use a temporary hand tool to keep a broken bay open, the operation is prioritizing continuous service volume directly over human survival. But the lift was only the most obvious problem. Negligent management always leaves a trail of physical evidence across the shop floor. In the Norwich facility, inspectors found deep slip, trip, and fall hazards, stemming from engine oil and transmission fluids spilled completely across a storage room floor. They also documented significant emergency egress hazards. Exterior areas were blocked by an unsafe accumulation of commercial trash and discarded tires. Then there was the severe fire risk. Technicians were leaving piles of oily rags in the open instead of storing them in required self-closing metal cans. As the petroleum-based products on those rags undergo a chemical process called exothermic oxidation, they generate heat. Trapped in a pile, that heat can't dissipate, eventually reaching the ignition point of the cotton fabric and causing spontaneous combustion. Finally, inspectors found damaged electrical outlets and conduits exposing live wires, and a missing eyewash station right next to the battery maintenance zone, a place where technicians face a constant risk of acid splash. Missing eyewash stations, blocked exits, and piled rags are rarely treated with the same urgency as a failing lift. Yet they are the exact pattern of operational negligence that eventually gives a manager permission to rig a multi-ton machine with a pair of pliers. Following the investigation, Monro agreed to correct all of the safety violations and pay the full $174,000 penalty to the Department of Labor. But the settlement also included a major structural mandate. OSHA forced Monro to establish a free, anonymous safety hotline across its 1,100 locations. This allows frontline technicians to bypass their local managers entirely and report health and safety concerns directly to corporate personnel. This hotline requirement mirrors massive corporate-wide settlements OSHA has recently struck with retail giants like Dollar Tree and Dollar General. It reveals OSHA's specific strategy for policing sprawling, decentralized networks that have a history of repeating safety failures. Recent civil litigation against Monro details a system where store managers allegedly work up to 75-hour weeks while facing strict caps on the hours of their subordinate staff. Under that kind of extreme time pressure, managers and technicians are incentivized to bypass safety protocols just to avoid closing a bay. In this environment, a rigged lift is the predictable physical manifestation of corporate labor policies. Take a hard look at your own facility today. Walk the shop floor. Look for frayed cables, open rag bins, blocked exits, or rigged tools. Refusing the quick fix is the ultimate act of self-preservation. Because when the pressure hits the breaking point and a multi-ton vehicle drops, corporate management isn't the one standing underneath it.